Hey guys, welcome back to Etheria Restart. In today's video, I wanted to bring something to your attention, which is a change that they made from both last beta and also the test build that I never saw on any patch notes. And it's actually a pretty big change for especially free-to-play players to make things more reliable for you to get a decent account off the ground. And that is that they changed the Freya banner. No, not the pity, but they changed the rate up SR units. So this is different to what it was in the beta and on the test build. In the beta and test build, it was Chiaki the Echo who was in place of Sanya. Now, Chiaki the Echo is still a fantastic character, but she's kind of like the budget version of Freya. So it was like the idea was, you know, if you're summoning for Freya, you can get the budget version and then maybe skip the Freya. But if you pull the Freya, you're not really going to use the Chiaki as much. Now, there is niche situations in which, yes, you would just use the Chiaki instead. But in general, she was kind of like, it was like pulling the replacement on the way to pulling the main act. And they swapped that for Sanya. And this, for free to play, is massive. If you are someone right now playing through an account without a Sanya and without any of the other healers, and you're just playing with the baseline Dorothy that you get, she scales off of attack. She's really awkward to use. She's super squishy. If you build her tanky, she doesn't heal enough. It's really not fun. And Sanya is what makes your first 7 days of play just feel a lot better, especially as a free-to-play player when you've got a much more limited roster. So if you are struggling and you're at that phase, even though I have said in the past, I don't recommend doing the Freya banner until you're like done with the standard banner and stuff like that, I definitely see this as, you know, if you've done like 100, 150 pulls and you haven't seen yourself a Sanya and you're feeling like you're really struggling in the sustain aspect of the game, that is where I do think it is definitely a possibility to jump over here into the Freya banner, put some pulls in. Now, it's not guaranteed. You can see these guys are a 4.5% drop rate. These guys are a 3.38. So whenever you see an SR, which you'll see one every 10 pull, you know, you've got a higher chance of it to be one of these three as opposed to these guys. So it's not guaranteed, but the thing is, we've also got Kraken in here, who is another fantastic SR unit, and Dinah, who I would argue is even higher value because of her potential with burst comps and her ability to debuff. But like I said, Sanya is just so key with having her revive, increased max HP, strong healing, passive that cleanses and heals based on her max HP, which is really nice. And then her basic attack has an advance for her, which is just absolutely fantastic. She is like, even though she did get a nerf to where this passive used to activate on the end of her turn, even if she was under control effects, even though that is no longer active, she is still an amazing healer. Also, her multipliers got nerfed a little bit. I think it was the bonus multiplier. But in general, she's still an absolutely fantastic unit. So if you are struggling once again with the sustain, definitely take a look at this one. This is definitely the exception to when I talk about do Freya once you're done with the standard banner, because obviously you can get Freya on the standard banner. But, you know, in this kind of situation, I'd take the gamble to try and get myself a Sanya if I was struggling through the game. Because like I said, I feel like Sanya should have been a free character along the way, because trying to play through the game with the Dorothy that we get, it just feels bad. So that is just one I want to bring you to your attention, because I only just realized that because I was just under the impression I didn't see anything about it in the patch notes. I never even bothered looking at the Freya banner because I wasn't going to pull on it. And then I just went and just randomly checked here because I was going to go ahead and try and get myself a Chiaki the Echo because I don't have her and I don't have Dina yet. So I was like, maybe I'd dive into doing some Freya summons, and I saw the Sanya there. So not too bad. For me personally, even if once I do decide to go for Freya, which I probably will because I don't have an attack buffer on my account, I'm pretty happy if I pull dupes of Sanya because she's a really good healing unit. So getting those dupes is just going to increase her healing output because we're going to get the stat increases. And then we also get the damage taken reduction, which is really nice as well for general use. So even if I get dupes of her along the way, I'm pretty happy. So I just thought I'd let you guys know that that is there definitely as an option if you want to go ahead and get it. Let's see if they actually changed Messiah as well, because he was the kid with the hammer. I've forgotten his name. Okay, it's still Chiaki the Guard. Yeah, okay. I was going to say if they changed him to Marvel, I still wouldn't recommend it, but it could have been an option. I mean, Marvel still, I'm going to go without Marvel on my account. But yeah, just wanted to let you guys know about that. Now, I want to give you guys a quick update. We're on day 2 of the account. You can see that I'm still level 22 at the moment. Reset happened at 8 p.m. I was running off of 2 hours sleep, so I went to bed, had a massive sleep, and so I'm trying to catch up on my refreshes. I think I got like 2 or 3 left to use. Yeah, I got 2 refreshes left to use, so I will hit level 23 today. Once I do hit to level 23, I'll go straight into farming for Fabian, because Fabian drops the shark, and the shark is just a fantastic shell to use in this early game. So that thing is going to go on all my supports. So I'll go ahead and pick that one up there, and that's kind of where I'm going to look at there. I mean, I do have the lily, so maybe it's not as vital, but it's still a pretty good shell nonetheless. So I will just go straight into farming him until we can get to Nico and start getting ourselves some mythic shells along the way. But that is what we are looking at. As for my account, yes, we've got, if you look at my SSR pulls on this one, we go there. We did just manage to pull the Jada, which is a huge pull for me. I'm super excited about that because if you guys watch my previous videos, you know, even though I think Rosa is technically better, Jada is the one I want because I value fun, and I think she is a hell of a lot of fun for the playstyle that I want to go for. And I got her from like 73 on pity. Before her, we did back-to-back Heinrich, so I got a dupe into Heinrich. So yeah, we did one. We went to soft pity on one pull and got the Heinrich, and then the next 10 pull we got a Heinrich again. So as much as it sucks to get a dupe, it was in the back-to-backs, so it's not the end of the world. Rilmoka also has a dupe into her, but really for this account, the big thing for me is just literally pulling the Jada. You know, Rilmoka makes life easy. I don't think she's necessary, but she makes life easy. And then if you guys have watched my videos, Heinrich is another one of those characters that I say makes life easy. I don't think he's necessary. And same with Doki Doki. Doki Doki is going to get benched for probably 3 months' time when I start really focusing on real-time arena. But she's going to be on the bench for a while. So the big pulls for me really are just the Lily and the Jada. Even though these ones are really, really nice. And a lot of people are like, oh, dude, you got those. I'm not really too stressed on these two, because I know I can get through all the other stuff without them. And then similar with Rilmoka, but you know, just to get the easy clap Doki on farm, I mean, it's just kind of easy to have a Rilmoka, so we'll do that. I'm going to try and avoid skilling up my Rilmoka though. Obviously, you know, getting that spread damage to be 33 and 100, the big 100 is huge. Maybe I take her to 2 skill ups and get the 75, because I just feel like, you know, with the kill getting 60%, it feels a bit low. The 75 might be enough to get the kills. Once again, this is where in my previous video, I spoke about, you know, feeling things out before you go ahead and skill anything up. That's what I'm going to do with Rilmoka. I'm going to feel it out because ideally I'd rather not skill her up, but if I have to make life easier, I will. But you know, we're just going to have to wait and see how that goes. Now, everything else, you know, I'm just on point with my first clears. The only thing I haven't first cleared is this one. I've got to manual this because the Messiah is just too annoying, and I'm just struggling there. So that's the only one I'm going to need to manual. I've first cleared the rest of the stuff. Obviously, the XP's first cleared. We've first cleared all the hards here, so we've got that all on lockdown. Just waiting for level 25 for these. But like I said, the next big unlock is literally once I hit level 23, because once I hit level 23, we're going to unlock the next phase of the main quest. Then we'll get extra first clears if I go to challenge again. We'll get extra first clears over in the Animus XP because we need to clear the next chapter to do that. And then also we get the shell drop unlock of Fabian, which is what we are going to farm for a little bit. Because shells seem to have a much better sell rate, sell cost than what the modules, dude, I forget all these gear names, but they have a much better sell cost than modules. I'd rather farm some shells early on because we're also, once you get to the what rarity is this, the gold rarity, dude, I forget all the rarities. I think it's epic in this game, but once you get to the gold shells, you start getting the reconfiguration chips. So just farming Fabian here for the fact that I can sell and get more reconfig chips so that when I get to my mythic shells, I can then have those reconfigs. That's what I'm kind of looking at doing over there. But that's kind of my plan for today. Once again, I'm not going to have too much stamina because I am saving all of these refreshes for when the 2x comes. Does that make my progression slower early on? Yes. But once again, I'm not focusing on arena, so I don't really care at the moment. You can see here, we are getting absolutely trucked on defense because we haven't built for it. We don't have a great defense. And yeah, we're just kind of letting people farm us because once again, as I mentioned in the betas, I played the betas for PvP. I am not playing this launch for PvP because I know it's unrealistic as free to play. My thought is that maybe when server 2 launches, that is when I'll do a reroll stream going for an alt account on server 2 and make that the free to play account that I try and push arena for because we won't have all the day 1 whales there. And you can see I've on 20 victories. So the first day I max refilled on the attacks. Today I might do more refills on attacks. I just got to wait and see, because the thing I really want to get from this is the perfect lattice from the shop. And I would also like to get the evolution lattice and the shadow prints from here before the reset in 2 days and 10 hours. So I may refresh more. I may do like 5 refreshes today, then tomorrow, see how it's going. I got to map out, because obviously with this, I'm done with all these rewards. So that big influx is gone. Rank up rewards are going to be another one. I've got to assess where I think I can get to with rank ups. If I could get to this shadow print, especially if I could get to diamond, but I'm not going to get to diamond. I think gold is the max I'm going to be able to get to, maybe platinum. So if I could get that, maybe I do some extra refreshes. But once we get through this week, then I'm done refreshing, because I don't want to be wasting those gems. Like I said, it's very important resources free to play, but it's kind of like, the way I look at it is, if spending 600 gems on refreshes gets me a perfect lattice and an evolution lattice, whereas if I didn't, I'd only get an evolution, I'd miss the perfect. I mean, I'd pay 600 gems for a perfect lattice. So that's kind of the value prop that I go. Whether you guys want to balance that out and see if that's what you want to do as well, up to you. But that's just kind of the way I am looking at it. Once again, not really focused on Arena. The other thing I want to mention is, I'm not, like I said, I'm not focused on Arena, but Summit Arena unlocks in 5 hours and 42 minutes at the time of recording this. And if you do want to jump in there, like, I'm going to jump in there and accept that my win rate is going to be like 3%, because I'm not built for it. But just for playing it, you get points, and you get points that give you currency in the shop, and we don't know when the shop is going to reset. So definitely check when it opens, because you might want to just jump in there and do some fights, even at a low win rate. Like, who cares? Like I said, for me as free to play, PvP early game is not the goal. It's just getting your account beefed up. And if you can jump into that Summit Arena and get some stuff from the shop, which is going to help you progress in PvE, some more perfect lattice and stuff like that, then it's worth jumping in there, in my opinion. But anyway, guys, that is everything that I wanted to cover in this video. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.